This is Cecilia O'Reilly, and welcome to another episode of Grounded Catholicism. Before I get on track, I'm going to get off track. The gospel we just recently listened to on Lazarus, just this incredible story of how he responds to our love for him. Mary and Martha, the sisters of Lazarus, send word to Christ saying, "Lord, the one you love is ill." And then Christ, aware of his death, returns to this land where his enemies are seeking him. And seeing their great faith, he goes to the tomb where Lazarus has been dead for 4 days. And he calls on the Father and says, "Lazarus, come out." And Lazarus rises from the dead. And do you know what the only thing I could think of at the end of this was, aside from the fact, man, after 4 days, that guy must have smelled bad. He had to die twice. Okay, I am getting sidetracked. Today we're going to talk about Christ's death, and specifically his fifth word, I thirst. When I think about this, I try to think of the times that I was so thirsty, I think, oh my gosh, I can't go on. And multiply that by hundreds. Christ's physical thirst must have been so intense after his agony, his scourging, carrying the cross, being nailed to it and hanging there. But the church tells us that there was an even more intense thirst than his physical one. There was a spiritual one, because the gospel proceeds to tell us so that scripture might be fulfilled. And that spiritual thirst was for our souls, for our love, for my love, for your love. That is some really intense, deep love. He not only forgave us after we just rejected and crucified him, but he still actually wants us. He's there thirsting for us. Typically, when I reflect on the Passion, I think about how I participated in the Passion, but in the ways that how I was there saying, crucify him, and I was nailing him to the cross through my sin. That's the reality of our sin. Every time we sin, we're rejecting God and we're saying, crucify him. But in this word, when he says, I thirst, it recalls the fact that there's another reality, love. And every day, every moment of each day, we have a choice to either be at the crucifixion saying, crucify him, or be at the crucifixion and quenching his thirst through our love. God gave us the freedom to do that because he knew only if we choose it is it love, because freedom is the foundation of love. And when we respond to that love, that thirst that God has for us, and we give back that love, he always responds with more. And this is where the story of Lazarus actually ties in. So many spiritual writers talk about how Lazarus in the tomb for 4 days is like our sin. But you know what? No matter how dirty and filthy we are, Christ always comes to us when we turn back to him. When we respond to that thirst. We're out of time for today, so tune in tomorrow, and in the meantime, enjoy life and live for eternity.